housekeeping items. First of all, I know it's kind of rare where you get a home practice where you get to sleep in your own bed and then practice here. What do you feel like you guys are able to get accomplished today?
Yeah, we got a lot accomplished. Being able to just being able to practice when we didn't play the night before, you can do a lot more. You can activate them more and get into more drill work. We didn't really do anything live, because we want to stay away from injury, but we were able to do a lot more.
With Eric's knee, you see him out here. Is he going to be able to play?
We're hopeful that he plays, but we're going to see how he responds to today's work tomorrow. But we're hopeful that he plays.
I know you've been excited about the in-season tournament. Now that it's finally here, the knockout round. How are you feeling about LA matchup and the first game of the tournament?
Yeah, it's not about the matchup, but just get your juices flowing a little bit. A single elimination type of deal, first ever. It's kind of exciting, and our guys are going to be ready to play.
How did Book come out in the game yesterday? Just heard the other day with the ankle and.
Yeah, minimal soreness, and he should be good to go as well.
What are you feeling from the team entering this in-season tournament? I know you said a little extra juice with these, but how do you see it from the guys?
Yeah, just to see it in their focus, their questions. When we're implementing the game plan, attention to detail, the guys are pretty locked in.
You look at Sunday's game as a must-win to gain some momentum heading into Tuesday's in-season tournament quarterfinals.
You mean Saturday's game?
Yeah, Saturday's game against the Grizzlies, being that you had dropped the previous two.
Honestly, we just look at the game in front of us. We wanted to win a game. We had lost 2 in a row. Wasn't really looking at what's behind it. We just wanted to get the W.
We've talked about how Book, once you guys organized offensively, the first 2 LA matchups didn't have him, and they shaded over on KD a lot. How much just having him out there opened things up?
Yeah, Book makes us a better team. There's no doubt about that. And not just because, like you said, not just because of his ability to score, but his defense, his ability to organize us offensively. Welcome him back for this matchup. I love it. First of all, I love it for the fans. I just think it's an exciting thing that our fans get to. Everybody loves March Madness every year. You know what I mean? A single elimination type of deal, and you don't really see that in the NBA because of the 7-game series and the nature of that. You get game 7s, but that's not quite the same. So I just think it's an exciting thing for all fans. I know that our players and our coaching staff and organization, our owner, has been really excited about what this is going to look like. And these guys, it doesn't matter what they're playing a game of cards, whatever. They're highly competitive individuals, so they want to win whatever competition is in front of them. So it'll be exciting to see. Times 100. Times 100. Whatever they thought it was going to do from an excitement standpoint, I would say it's times 100.
Well, we're approaching week 3 of that reevaluation period for Brad. How's he looking in his recovery process now?
Yeah, he's making progress, but still no timetable. He's out tomorrow. Yeah.
Coach, are you approaching tomorrow's game kind of like a playoff-like approach, or how is that for you?
Yeah, a little deeper dive, in terms of the game planning and whatnot. We have seen this team twice already, so, we're familiar, to some of the things that they've done, but we've also grown a lot as a team. Our system growth is, it's almost makes the last game we played a little bit unrecognizable for the way we're playing now. So, reasons to be encouraged, and, but the preparation, we did dive a little deeper than we would a regular season game. No concern. We feel like he's going to get back to full strength soon. Yeah, it's tough. There's a great deal of excitement around seeing him with Book and KD together. So there's injuries come along with everything, but we're all excited to see them all out there together.
How excited are you? It feels like the first couple games against the Lakers have been super competitive, especially KD versus LeBron, and just everything that comes with it. So how exciting is that? And you add on to that's the In-Season Tournament Quarterfinals.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement around it. I know it's great to see KD and Bron out there on the same floor for all fans. It's just it's just the fans should cherish it. You know, that to be able to see that type of matchup, it's going to be really exciting for us. It doesn't matter who we're playing. You know, we're trying to win this tournament. You know, so you know, just dive into the work and get our guys ready to play.
So again, having an in-season tournament matchup, how are you feeling now that you guys are in the knockout round or another round against LA?
Yeah, I feel good. Excited about it. It's a new deal in the league, so it's an exciting time for players, fans, everybody. So I'm looking forward to it.
The first two matchups, obviously, you guys didn't have Book, and LA shaded over to you quite a lot, sent a lot of doubles. Just how much having him out there changed that complexion for you?
Yes, I still think that's going to happen, but I feel like we can make them pay a little bit better now that we've seen it before. We've been around each other a little bit more. We got chemistry, so I think that trial and error is going to help us out this time around, but it's still going to be a tough task ahead.
Kevin, how juiced do you get to have another competitive opportunity against LeBron? I know you guys play in the finals sometimes, kind of another thing like that.
I'm excited to compete against everybody in the league.
Let's talk about the in-season tournament and how
I think the NBA created buzz, and regardless, you know, I think this is an immovable force. You know, the league ain't gonna go nowhere. The fans gonna always be tuned in, regardless of what we put into the league. In-season tournament play-in, I think the fans gonna always be excited. It's hard to be excited around this time. I mean, it's not high-pressure games where everybody loves the finals and the playoffs. So, as much as we can kind of mimic that part of the season, I think that'll keep the fans even more engaged in what they are. But I think they've been doing a great job of supporting the league, regardless of what happens. Like what?
Maybe like a postseason something?
Nah, hell nah. I feel like I feel like you got to play out the season and figure out who should be in the postseason. I mean, I don't think an all-star game incentive or in-season tournament should dictate what happens postseason. I think 82 should do that. So, but like I said, it's cool for the fans. I think we get more and more fans to watch the game of basketball on the NBA platform in general with the new in-season tournament. So it's been a success thus far.
With your post recently about Anthony Edwards sneakers, what he said he wanted to see you in his shoes, was that basically an eye for an eye approach based on what he had in his commercial a month ago promoting his AE1s?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of been an unsaid thing that Nike and Adidas compete with one another, and Nike being the biggest brand in the world, Adidas has been competing with them for the longest. And Ant this summer just openly came out and just talked about it. I think that was a cool, funny thing to do, is to take a couple digs at Nike, and you know, and Nike responded back a couple times. I think Larry Miller from Jordan said something to some Adidas guys at a conference or something like that. So it's like the friendly competition type of deal. I love Ant. I love his brand. I love what he brings to the game. So I thought it was funny for me to tweet that, and that's my brand, I guess, is the Twitter guy. So I tried to lean into that a little bit.
Yeah, and they also had the recent sneaker of the year. I think Samba won over Nike's shoes, and there was some discourse over that.
Who created that list?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So you know, whoever created that really don't matter. You know, so everybody got opinions though, man. But it's all funny games. I mean, it's a part of the competition now. Shoe companies compete with one another. There's so many guys with signature shoes out right now. It's all good for the game of basketball.
Kevin, now that you and Book have had more time together, talked about it on the other matches, how special has it been like for
Yeah, it's just special to play with a player who understands the game on that level. Has been at the highest level of basketball, playing in the finals, playing in the Olympics, playing All-Star games. So he kind of understands what the highest level of basketball is like, and so we have, always have constant communication on what we see out there, and so it makes the game easier for everybody when we're both on the court. So, the more games and more reps we get under our belt, the better we become as a team.
You've seen pretty much every defensive coverage under the sun, but with the way the Grizzlies were kind of top blocking you and Book last game, how did you like the way in the second half you kind of throughout those counters to that.
Yeah, I mean, playing against the Grizzlies the last few years, and Coach Jenkins, he's been throwing that in there. Not just our team, but a lot of the scorers in the league. He's been implementing that style of defense, and it's effective. But having some pressure release options that we had in the second half, where we got some backdoor options, and we kind of slowed down and simplified the game and got some cuts and was able to loosen up a bit. And you've seen the game opened up after that. So we got to get used to all types of defenses, and that's just the nature of the game right now. Everybody is throwing junk defenses in there, trying to throw off rhythm of the offenses, because offenses are so great in this league now. You got to figure out different ways to stop it. So we got to be prepared, and coaches are going to keep us prepared.
Kevin, Frank was just saying about how these first two matches you had against the Lakers, he feels like you guys are almost a completely different team now. So how do you approach a game like this where you've played them in the past, but you have a lot of guys back and a lot has changed?
Yeah. Obviously adding Book back is a huge factor into the whole matchup. But guys more settled into their roles. The second game of the season, I think we played them 2 or 3 weeks ago. More guys just getting comfortable with time, and you can say the same thing for their team. They understand one another more, and they know their roles a little bit more. And different guys are playing in the rotation, so I think it'll be two different teams out there come tomorrow night, and it should be a fun matchup.
So I know you were a fan of the NBA's in-season tournament. Now that the knockout stage is here, another rematch with LA. How are you feeling about the first round?
I'm excited. I think the whole team's excited. Get another chance to play a really good team, go to try to get a win, and make it to the next round.
This is probably a simple question, but the first two times you played this team didn't have Devin Booker. How much does having him change the complexion of this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really about the matchup. Just having him back changes the dynamic of our team and how we play. We're raised a level when he's on the court, much better with him. So we're always happy to have him back, especially for big matchups like this.
As far as your illness last week, everything good on that?
Yeah, I'm good now, thankfully. I was struggling for a little bit, but I'm good.
Frank talked about just the level of focus for this team and the shift with going into the in-season tournament. I know you said you guys are excited. What have you seen specifically, though, just with the focus?
Guys are locked in. This is kind of having this full day to prepare. I think most of the times during the regular season, a day like this would be a tune-up, clean-up kind of game, less about your next opponent, more about you. But for us, kind of having an off day and then a full day in preparation for the next game, like this being a big in-season tournament, we have a full day to prepare for the Lakers here, and instead of just going through shoot-around the next morning, like we get a whole practice to do it. So it kind of feels more like the playoffs from that sense, and having a full day, more time to go in depth and film and matchups and stuff.
When you look at the offense and how you guys have had guys in and out, has it been difficult to kind of find or pick and choose your spots in terms of I need to be aggressive here or I need to spot up here, that type of thing?
A little bit. It's just more of mixing in some being patient with the game and kind of how it flows. Like if something's working for us offensively, we're going to keep going and going and going to that. And a lot of times it has to do with matchups with Book and Kev, with those guys that have been out there. So, I mean, it might be a full quarter where I'm just hanging out and spacing, but like we're doing great offensively, and that's good for us. So, I think it's more about kind of reading how the defense is switching up, how they're guarding those guys, and if they are sending help, I got to be ready to cut, to make plays. If they're denying those guys and the help side's not there, then you have your opportunities to drive and attack the basket. But a lot of our offense, especially with those two guys on the court, we're going to be playing through them and letting them make the reads.
This was supposed to be basically a bye week for this team, but you guys are obviously playing in the in-season tournament Tuesday, possibly Thursday if you advance. So do you find it advantageous that you're continuing the rhythm as a team rather than having that time off?
Yeah, I mean, anytime, like having the last 2 days without a game feels like you get a bye in the middle of regular season. So I don't know how much having extra days really makes that much of a difference. Like 2 is great, and we'll take that. But I think for us, and like how we're evolving as a team, how guys are getting better with playing with each other, playing with different lineups out there. Like these good matchups, these meaningful games are big for us.
Grayson, how do you feel like it seemed like both Katie and Coach said that your team has basically changed so much since the first 2 times you played the Lakers. So how do you feel like your approach goes into this game and you feel like a completely different team now?
Yeah, I mean, we're still approaching it from playing to our strengths, and we're still building on the stuff that we have for the past week. It's just a little bit more challenging to kind of go back and look at film from us playing them because we do things differently. Guys are playing differently. We have different guys in there. We're using different lineups. So it's all going to be different. But that's kind of like our team is a lot of new with our team. Plus you add the injuries in. Like we're going to continue to evolve throughout the year and hopefully for the better. So 2 months from now, it could be the same thing with another matchup. Like we're going to look like a completely different team in 2 months than we are today.
Do you feel like guys maybe are understanding their roles a little bit better now, though, going in?
Yeah, I think so. And I think we have a bunch of guys that understand their roles really well. And I think it's more about kind of learning how you can excel and do better in that role. Because a lot of that just comes with comfortability. Like it's really difficult to just jump in from day one and excel on a new team when you're filling in a role. Because when you're filling in a role, you're adjusting to other guys that are on the court. And when you haven't had the minutes and the experience with other guys, it just makes it a little bit difficult. So, like, the more minutes as time goes on, like, guys will get a lot better in their roles, find new ways to make plays, new ways to add and help to the team.
To your point, Coach was saying he felt like Yusuf has kind of improved the most from the beginning of the year to now in that sort of way. How have you seen him get a little bit more comfortable?
I think he's getting a lot more comfortable offensively. I think all of us, the guards, are doing a better job of finding him. And he's such a good passing big that we can play through him a lot, and he's extremely unselfish. But recently I feel like he's kind of found the spots where he can attack and go get his own shot while still being that guy that we can play through, be a great passer. And two, like with the evolution of our team, like you see guys that are worried about our shooting. And when you have him rolling to the rim and he's such a good passer, like if we give him the ball, he can spray it out and find three-point shooters, so they're a little bit more hesitant to help, and he's taking advantage of it and get to the rim. So he can be really dangerous for us, and he's done a tremendous job the last couple of weeks at scoring and passing and making great reads out of that.
You actually came into the league playing for Memphis. Obviously Saturday was against your former team. Do you have any memories of how that was going into Memphis in your first year and how it changed?
Memphis was my second year. I was with Utah my first year.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, most of the coaches are still the same, like training staff, still some of the same guys on the team. So, Memphis, my first year going into the Memphis, I was coming off the bench. My second year was kind of my first year starting in the league there. So Memphis was kind of where I was able to figure myself out, figure out how I can help teams in the league, kind of change and adjust my game a little bit. And a lot of that is like a big thank you to the coaches for kind of developing me into that, but also the guys I was playing with at the time. Like, we had a really good, hungry, unselfish group. Like, my first year there, we were expected to be like a 15-win team and surpass expectations because guys were so competitive, and that was a really fun group to play for.
Is there a specific area you feel like this team has grown the most this season?
Not one. I mean, it's just going to be little areas each week. Like, I think you see teams are going to try different coverages with us. Like, we've seen box and one, triangle and two. We've seen against Memphis, Book and Kev get top locked 94 feet. We've seen teams that just try to hug up and make you play in the paint, heavy help teams. Like, I think offensively we're going to see more and more coverages and people try different things, and so our growth will be adjusting to those things on the fly in game, where we don't have to come in the next day and figure out how to attack it. And I think we've done a good job of that so far. As a lot of times we'll make adjustments mid-game, mid-play, in between quarters, and figure something out that defense is trying to throw at us.
Thanks, Grayson.
Thank you.